Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sapitam Dena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagano Lalita Shri Visakhan Vitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrisavanu Sita Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sandhubhyaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Bhagavad-Gita cities ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A reading from Srimad Bhagavad-Gita as it is, chapter 3, Karma Yoga, text number 37. Shri Bhagavan-Uvacha Kamesa Krodayesa Rajoguna Sambodhabhava Mahasana Mahapadma Vidyanam Ihavairinam. Shri Bhagavan-Uvacha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said. The Personality of Godhead said. Kama, lust. Esa, this. Krodha, wrath. Esa, this. Rajaguna, the moods of passion. Samodbhava, born of. Maha-asana, all devouring. Mahapapma, greatly sinful. Vidhi, no. Enam, this. Iha, in the material world. Vairinam, greatest enemy. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is lust only, Arjuna. which is born of contact with the material mode of passion and later transformed into wrath, and which is the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world. Let's repeat. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is lost only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with the modes of passion, with the material mode of passion, and later transformed into wrath, and which is the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world. Purport. When a living entity comes in contact with a material creation, his eternal love for Krishna is transformed into lust in association with the mode of passion. Or in other words, the sense of love of God becomes transformed into lust, as milk in contact with sour tamarind is transformed into yogurt. Then again, when lust is unsatisfied, it turns into wrath. Wrath is transformed into illusion, and illusion continues the material existence. Therefore, lust is the greatest enemy of the living entity. And it is lust only which induces the pure living entity to remain entangled in the material world. Wrath is a manifestation of the mode of ignorance. These modes exhibit themselves as wrath and other corollaries. If, however, a mode of passion, instead of being degraded into the mode of ignorance, is elevated to the mode of goodness by the prescribed method of living and acting, then one can be saved from the degradation of wrath by spiritual attachment. The Supreme Personality of God had expanded himself into many for his ever-increasing spiritual bliss, and the living entities are parts and parcels of this spiritual bliss. They also have spiritual independence, but by misuse of their independence, when the service attitude is transformed into the propensity for sense enjoyment, they come under the sway of lust. This material creation is created by the Lord to give facility to the conditioned souls to fulfill these lustful propensities, and when completely baffled by prolonged lustful activities, the living entity begin to inquire about their real position. This inquiry is the beginning of the Vedanta Sutras, wherein it is said, Atatu Brahma Gigyasa. One should inquire into the Supreme. And the Supreme is defined in Srimad Bhagavatam as Janmadi Ashayata and Bayat Itartascha. Or, the origin of everything is the Supreme Brahman. Therefore, the origin of lust is also in the Supreme. If therefore lust is transformed into love for the Supreme, or transformed into Krishna consciousness, or in other words, desiring everything for Krishna, then both lust and wrath can be spiritualized. Hanuman, the great servitor of Lord Ram, exhibited his wrath by burning the garden city of Ravana, but by doing so he became the greatest devotee of the Lord. Here also in Bhagavad-Gita, the Lord induces Arjuna to engage his wrath upon his enemies for the satisfaction of the Lord. Therefore, lust and wrath, when they are employed in Krishna consciousness, become our friends instead of our enemies. Krishna is answering the question of Arjuna. Arjuna asked Krishna, O descendant of Vrishni, by what is one impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force? So Lord Krishna replied here, Kama, Isa, Krodha, Isa. The two things, lust and anger. The Christian said here they are what? Mahasana and Mahapapma. And because they are Mahasana and Mahapapma, Christian said they are Iha. They are the enemies of the living entities in this world. Iha. In this world. Vairinam. The enemies. They are formidable enemies. Lust and anger. So what is lust? That is the enemy of conditioned souls in this world. What is lust? So Papa said here, when a living entity comes in contact with the material creation, his eternal love for Krishna is transformed into lust. So lust means what? The opposite of prema. Prem, we know it is what controls everything, including Krishna. Prem. So we shouldn't be surprised that the opposite of pure love of God, which control even the supreme and control the spiritual world, when it comes to the material energy, in material world also, it will also act very powerful. It cannot act below the standard. So we see that all conditioned souls in this world are tormented by lust. All conditioned souls, they are tormented by lust. As powerful as anyone may be in this material world. The problem which is lying there. What do we mean? The problem which is lying there means that lust is not gross. We don't see it. It's subtle. It's hiding there, but very formidable. How do you defeat an enemy that is not visible? How will you fight an enemy that is not visible? If the enemy is visible, you can see. Then you can plan how to fight with. But here we have an enemy that we don't see. So Krishna said here, it is Mahasana, Mahapama, greatly sinful enemy in this material world, the living entity in this material world. Everyone, Lord Krishna himself, he said, I am amazed to see how my illusory energy works. It's powerful. And the illusory energy says, yes, I'm so powerful that even when I appear in a assembly of sages, before I open my eyes and close it, all of them are offering obeisances to me. Maha, Papma, Mahasana, greatly sinful. It's powerful, controlling everyone. In the history, what do we see? So many people are in the forest performing austerity, and they fall. Fall means what? You're not eating flesh. You're not taking alcohol. Fall means illicit sex. Lust. Formidable enemy. For anger, it is visible. You can see. When someone is angry, you can see, oh, it is coming. But lust is sleeping there. Not sleeping. Is hiding there. Is hiding there. And torturing everybody. So in other words, what we are saying is that, in other words, lust means selfish desire. Selfish desire. So the original pure love, the original pure love, which is the birthright of all living entities, is transformed and becomes a selfish activity. No more love for Krishna. Selfish activity means now it is not for Krishna, it is for the self. This is a problem. When it becomes I, then it's a problem. So in Krishna consciousness, and properly explaining, is to revise everything. So instead of I, it is we. If you want to transform lust into love, the principle is no more I, it is we. Until the living entity come to the principle of appreciating this, we, not I, we have not started the process of transformation. Transformation begins when we are now concerned with we. In other words, until living entity removes selfishness from our lives, we will not succeed. So His Holiness Bhakti-yoga Maharaj, he wrote this book, Transforming Lust into Love. And he gave principles. One of the principles is that everyone, we have our selfish nature, which we in material will call love. Our love in the material world is selfishness, lust. It's not love. So everyone has lust for something. Let me put it in this way so we can understand. All conditions, so we have lust for something. Transformation means that if you want to transform this lust and make it into pure love, then the principle is that we should try to care for everyone equally. That's the beginning. The beginning is that we should care for everyone equally. Equally. The so-called love that we think we have, that so-called love, which it means that there's some people we consider to be friends, and we have a friendly relationship, friendly dealings, which is actually a teaching. It is also lost, because in the material world there's nothing like friends. A friend in the material world means what? You are gratifying my senses, I'm gratifying your senses, but we consider that friendship, which is lost. It's an expansion of loss. It's the same thing in a different form. Love is only in the spiritual world, or when the living entity has regained his or her true loving relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then it is called love. Not about the self. It's about we. So you see, very carefully, if you look very carefully, you'll see that those who are selfless in this world, they don't have depression. They don't have loneliness. And they don't suffer from the fear of what will happen in the future, because there is no lust. They are spreading, they are now expanding that little affection that we have. They are expanding by applying it to every living entity. That's the process, the principle, to transform the lust into love. Because the love has come in contact with the material moods of nature, ignorance and passion. Meaning that for those who are in ignorance and passion, the amount of loss in the body is higher than those who are in the mode of goodness. And for those who are in the pure state, there's no love. There's no lust, it is love, because it is now transformed. So you see, pure devotees, they are called pure devotees because there's no love, there's no lust. Their love is revived, and they have that love for Krishna. So they are called pure devotees. No lust. They have no selfishness in their dealings. All their activities is based on selflessness. So they are always happy. It's a principle to begin everything. So Prabhupada gave example here. Or in other words, the sense of love of Godhead becomes transformed into lust. As milk encountered with the sour tamarind, it transformed into yogurt. Then again, when lust is unsatisfied, which is the nature, it turns into wrath. When our selfish desire is not fulfilled, it will manifest into anger. Frustration will bring anger out. So, gross anger is the manifestation of the lust, which is lying down in the heart of the conditioned souls. Anger, krodha, is a gross form of lust, because the lust is not satisfied, and it cannot be satisfied. Just like if you put fuel in the fire, it will not go off. It will increase. Similarly, Prabhupada said here, if therefore the mode of passion, instead of being degraded into the mode of ignorance, is elevated to the mode of goodness by the prescribed method of living and acting, then one can be saved from the degradation of wrath by spiritual attachment. Transformation, being engaged in spiritual activities, detachment is a process. Not by doing it, but by detachment. And detachment starts from where the loss is lying. The Krishna in future, he will point out the strategic places where the loss is sitting. And Krishna will point them out. The strategic positions are not gross. They are also subtle. So they need to be discovered. And so Prabhupada said here, it is through spiritual attachment. By practice, intense devotional service, Krishna consciousness. Intense Krishna consciousness, devotional service. means that our sadhana has to be very, very strong. Because when sadhana is very strong, there is an empowerment. There's empowerment. Empowerment comes from strong sadhana. Discipline of the senses. So the sages are not fools. When they will go to the forest to go and try to discipline the senses, they are not fools. They are deliberately doing that because they want to transcend. In our process is simple. Our process is simple. We don't have to go to the forest. Now we can stay wherever we are and apply the process of Krishna consciousness, and the lost will become transformed. Beginning from try to be very, very, very friendly with everyone. We should maintain friendship with everyone. Everyone. Even our so-called enemies. If we want to transform lust, we should maintain friendship with everyone. That's the beginning. Be friendly. And when one is practicing friendliness with others, it goes with practical action. We have to physically do something to show that we care, that we love somebody. Service. So when devotees are very busy and fully engaged in service, there is no time to think about selfish desire, which is tormenting everyone. When we don't give attention to something, someone is knocking on the door. If the door is not open, a visitor will not enter. So when we neglect the dictation of the mind, the lost will leave us. When we will give attention to the mind, the lost will remain. The Supreme Personality of God had expanded himself into many for his ever-increasing spiritual bliss. And the living entities are parts and parcels of this spiritual bliss. They also have spatial independence, but by misuse of their independence, when the service attitude is transformed into the propensity for sense enjoyment, selfishness, they come under the sway of lust, selflessness. The principle. This material creation is created by the Lord to give facility to the conditioned souls to fulfill these lustful propensities. And when completely baffled by prolonged lustful activities, the living entity begin to inquire about their real position. So when you look at Bhagavatam, what do we see? Maharaj Yayati. He was blessed by the curse of Brihaspati. But he was not happy with that. I am very young, and he's not young at that time, but because of loss, a selfish desire, I'm very young, and my wife is also young. How will I live like this with old body? Can you do something? It's okay. Go and beg your son. If anyone can accept the old age and exchange the youth, so you can take the body and enjoy. Shamelessly, because he is tormented, he has lost the intelligence due to the contamination of lust, became shameless and went to his sons and begged. Only one, Puru, accepted. And he took the young body. And he continued to enjoy with his wife for years. But lust, the more he continued to enjoy, thinking that he would satisfy the lust, he did not know that he was simply putting fuel into the fire. The lust was increasing. So at last he discovered, this is not the way. This is not the way. What is the way? Tolerate it. The way to control it, to tolerate it, not to increase it. Tolerate it. Neglect the diction of the mind. Tolerate it. Just like one would tolerate an itch. Then it will go. If one is tolerating it by his spiritual attachment in Krishna consciousness, if one artificially try to do that, he won't succeed. Many sages they tried, they didn't succeed. In Krishna consciousness, one can succeed. This guaranteed success. To control lust. Be friendly. Neglect the mind. Don't give attention to the mind. Be friendly. Treat everyone equally. Treat everyone nicely. Treat everyone with friendliness. And serve. Lust will go down. One who is idle, having a spare time in the life, you cannot control lust. Being idle is a freedom for lust to demand. To be free, we should always be active, fully engaged in Krishna conscious activities. The mind will be busy thinking how to serve Krishna, and lust will sleep until it will go away. Then who is that? Chanaka Pandit made experiment. Is Chanaka Pandit? Huh? What experiment he made? He took a young girl, very young girl, and visited a hospital. Where an old man is very old man is lying on the deathbed, is just about to die. So when the king visited him with the daughter, a very young, beautiful daughter, the old man just about to die, the king was speaking to him. When he slightly opened the eye to see, when he saw the king and saw the daughter, he forgot the king, and the eye was fixed on the young girl. So Chandaka Pandit says, see the man. See, he is not seeing you, neither he is seeing me. He is seeing the girl. The lost does not leave conditioned souls on its own. It is by discipline, spiritual discipline, one can conquer. By the practice of strong sadhana, one will become empowered to overcome lusts. The lust become transformed into love, and we cannot just get it transformed just by theoretical hearing. We have to put it into practice. Please, we are repeating, try to be friendly with everyone as the first principle. We should try to be very, very busy in devotional service, planning our days, not being idle, be fully engaged in service to Krishna. The mind will be forgotten. And when the mind is forgotten, loss also will gradually go away, and pure love of Godhead will develop. Question or comments? Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Is lost only
Just a minute. Just a minute. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you for the nice class. Is lost only meant on the feminine side, or you have another type of lost?
I didn't say that. I said all conditioned souls are tormented by lust. All. Male, female.
Yeah, but I mean,
Not only human beings, all species of life are attacked by lust. Because we are all spirit soul, but once the love for Krishna is transformed, it doesn't matter the body we carry. The lust is there. It's not something that exists in this body and does not exist in that body. Because we are all spirit souls. So lust is there in all bodies. In all species of life, do you see any species of life that does not have sex? Right? So it is there. Only human beings who have been given the opportunity to try to control it, because we have the intelligence, you have the scripture to learn how to control it. Other species doesn't have this in the process. But human beings, we have this. We have the process. We have the technologies to apply. And we have the majority of few technologies that can be applied. And if you apply that, it will go down. And people who are very, very selfish, very, very unfriendly, have so many differences. They are tormented by lust. This is practical. Even though the lust is hiding in the heart, it's not so gross, but one can see. There are symptoms one can see, especially women. All women knew a man that is lusty after them. Women, they have that power. A man would not know, but the women would know. This man likes me. This man is thinking of me. The women knows. Because the lust in their own body is stronger than the lust in the man's body. So they have this psychic ability over men. Right?
Maharaj, is power and money also constitute a lust?
It's a manifestation of lust. What are we looking for money for? To serve Krishna? No. We're not looking for money to serve Krishna. We're looking for money to get more facility for sense gratification. You see, in Vrindavan here, big estate, big buildings is for what? For serving Krishna? Huh? They're turning Vrindavan into a cement. What is that? Lust. It is lost. In a few years, you will not see Vrindavan again. You see all the manifestations of lust. Big, big buildings everywhere. Where is Brinda and Van? Where? You won't see again. In a few years, you will see again. Lost. Lost is expanding in different forms. One person is having many cars. For what? One body. Can you ride 10 cars at a time? Huh? That is lust. The manifestation of lust is expanding in different ways. Position, and we fight to maintain our position. For what? To serve Krishna? No. It's lust. Lust is manifesting in all these activities which we do. Even in Krishna consciousness. You see the manifestation of lust. So many ambitious devotees. What is that? It's lust. A devotee is making advancement, the lust is going down. He's making advancement. He's accommodating. He's accommodating. He or she lives for others. His lust is going. When you see a devotee who living his or her life for others, the lust is going. When you see a devotee living life only to manipulate others, his lust is increasing. It's not difficult with the eye of Bhagavad-Gita. One can understand what is happening. If one is a little bit sincere and conversant with the scripture, you can understand how lust is expanding through our speech. When you look at devotees, what comes out of the mouth when devotees meet? Do we discuss scriptures? Lust. You see devotee, see another devotee just walks past. What is that? Lust. Selfishness. That is selfishness. Designations is based on lust. I am this body. And anything which is not comfortable with this body, get out. You don't exist for me. That's his lust. It's all pervading. How do we look at things? Everything in this world. How do we look at everything in this world? All of us. How do we look at things? Oh, this is good for me. What is that? Lust. So we can see if we are making advancement in Krishna consciousness or not by seeing the level of the level of lust in our own consciousness. How much do we care for others? That shows, oh, the lust is going down. How we taking care of each other? The lust is going down. You never see people who are so concerned with the welfare. We're not talking about taking care of people's body. We're talking about taking care of Krishna conscious life for people. Encouraging people in the Krishna consciousness and making a lot of sacrifice to make people become Krishna conscious. Encouraging people in the Krishna consciousness by our own Krishna consciousness. Loss is going down. You can see, oh, this loss is going down in this person's life. If you don't see that, the loss is increasing. It's not a sign of advancement. It means that the loss is expanding. So it doesn't matter which body. It is there in all the bodies. It's lost. So Krishna said it is Maha Padma, destroying all conditioned souls. Why? What is the level of our Krishna consciousness? Right? What is the level of our Krishna consciousness? Loss is destroying that. So you understand what Krishna means by all devouring sinful. Look at the word Krishna used. What is devouring? Devour means what? Devour. Destroy, take over all, to seize everything. Lust has seized all conditioned souls. Our intelligence, our mind, and our senses is controlled by lust. Krishna is going to point all of them out. This I will see. With the eye of the scripture, we can see. Krishna consciousness is not just a theoretical thing, just speak big philosophy and go. It's a practical thing we can see. You can see it. How we are making progress in Krishna consciousness. How much do we care for each other? That shows the amount of loss or love in our heart, in our Krishna consciousness. Hmm? All right? Anything else? Comment? Yes.
I was just seeing a video about what's happening in Vrindavan, and someone was saying that there are signs all around Vrindavan advertising sex doctors, you know, and most of it's written in Hindi, but it's on some of the brick walls as well. So I'm wondering, it affects everybody on a subtle level. How do you counteract that? It affects if you're walking by it all the time and you're not seeing it. You know, like you have to increase your chanting, or what do you do?
Yes, everything is connected with something else. Everything. Maya is contagious, it's spread. As bhakti is contagious, it's spread. Wherever there's bhakti, you see it will spread. Wherever there's Maya, also it will spread. When there is advertisement about lusty things everywhere, when the eye sees that, see, the senses are, when we say Maya is so strong, how strong is Maya? The eye thinks that what I have seen in a second is gone. Just wait for 2 days. Because the mind tells you that you already get it registered. So everything the mind, everything the eye sees, it will drop some residues in the mind. And when you continue to accumulate that, one day it will become what? Big. So when we see things like that, you cannot enter the street and close the eye not to see. So we have to see. But how do we protect ourselves? By taking full shelter of the holy name. We should try to be absorbed in our chanting, not just chant alphabet, not just chant to complete 16 rounds. We should understand who is this Harinam. We should understand this personality and absorbed in chanting, absorbed in hearing, absorbed in reading, absorbed in the service which we do. That is our shelter. Now we can see them and not have effect. Otherwise, be affected. After seeing all that, you come back, you want to cook. What are you going to cook? It is what we have seen in the street. And when you offer that to Krishna, you distribute it, and what you will eat. And not everything we eat that is so pure, even though it is taken to the altar and offered. So be careful with what we eat. So you look at the scriptures, only Brahmanas serve the deities. It's not a discrimination. It's not a discrimination that all the Brahmanas will serve the deities. Why? They have control senses. The Brahmanas, we're talking about Brahmanas. They have control senses. Their senses does not control them. So even they see nonsense, it don't affect them. They will maintain their purity and cook nicely and offer nicely to the deities. Then it is purifying. Otherwise, when you eat unnecessary things, even in the name of prasadam, the laws will be expanding. And be wondering, why am I so agitated? Because of the food I've eaten. It's the food. It's not properly cooked. The person who cooked it has cooked lust instead of the food. It will spread. All right? Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavad-Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.